It's all professional with the little like artsy handbook there you've got.
That's my journal. This is what I write all my stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like the little like having like a small thin one?
Yeah, I carry this everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's sick. I should do that. Mine's massive.
Which one is it? The golden one?
It's the golden one and so it's like first. It's like I'm picky about what stuff I put in the small one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then in the big one, I put whatever the fuck.
Okay, I see. The big one's like a sketchbook, probably.
The big one's like any random shit that pops in my head, and then the small one's like profound ideas.
Okay, I see. You're almost done with the small one.
They're both almost full.
They're almost full?
Yeah, I have to get a new one.
Would
So
you ever,
I'm thinking I'm gonna do something like that now.
yeah.
So I can carry it easy.
Yeah. Would you ever show someone what's in there?
I've shown people.
You've shown people? Okay.
Yeah, I'd show those who are interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Cool. Well, I'm here with Vio Malhotra. He is the director of a 2020 short named Exam Day. We're going to be screening it for maybe 20 to 30 people later tonight. So it's a big day today. Exciting day. But I guess we're just going to talk a bit about the process and the movie right now. So can you just give us like a quick premise of, without giving too much away, of what this movie is?
That's been the toughest question for me. Anyone's asked me about the movie.
Okay.
Because it's like in a short movie, I don't want to spoil it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I have a hard time telling people like what it's like, even thinking what it's about.
Yes.
I would say if you want like a simple answer, it's
Mhm.
just about an engineering student
Yeah.
and just his life.
Yeah.
Just a short snippet from his life
Mhm.
as an engineering student.
Mhm.
And but if you want like a more like profound answer, I would say it's about someone. It's about showing how people could be peaceful
Okay.
in moments of anxiety.
Okay. I often get that question, like, what's it about? And I think I give a similar answer, like, oh, it's about an engineering student.
Yeah.
But-
So Sunit is actually also part of this crew, and he's the assistant director. And his ideas were, there's some shots in there that are like very Sunit shots,
yeah.
especially towards the end.
Towards the end?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The one room scene, which you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where everyone was involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we talk about it as if, like, they know the movie? Like, you know what I mean?
I think it could go both ways. I think you could go into characters.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep it like.
Just like ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a script that you wrote. This is a script that you wrote yourself.
Yeah.
I was wondering what was that process like?
I had no plans of turning it into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had a very stressful term at university,
Mm-hmm.
and I had always wanted to write a script.
Okay.
Or actually, I wouldn't say I'd always wanted to write a script. I'd always been interested in reading scripts. So like whenever I'd really like a movie, I'd read a script. The first script I ever read was Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on out, I was hooked onto also trying to read scripts of
Mhm.
movies that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read a script without watching the movie first, but when I really like a movie, I like to go and read the script. And I just thought it's such a fun medium. Like, I find it a much more fun medium than like trying to write like novel
A novel. Okay.
or something without dialogue.
Yes.
Like the structure just appeals to me.
Yes.
So after, like, I had a stressful term, and I can't remember when it started, but at some point in my life, whenever I'd be walking around,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have an interesting like image
Mm-hmm.
in my head, and I'd want to be able to share that image.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm just walking around, and it's almost indescribable. It's like I'm walking around in a park or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, just this, like I'm seeing it from a third person perspective.
Yes.
I don't know when it started to happen, but
Mm.
it started to happen, and then I just wanted to try what it's like to write a script.
Okay.
And I after that term, I had a story to tell,
Uh-huh.
and it just kind of made sense. I just wrote I think I wrote it in like a couple of days.
Okay.
Like just sat down and just kept going.
So I wanted to ask about that term because, like, I'm assuming that your experiences are, like, they heavily inform what the script is about.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, like, about that term, like, how is your script, like, reflecting of that term or of those feelings that you were feeling?
There's a very strong case to be made that the main character is a lot of me.
Uh-huh.
And some of the struggles he deals with, like loss,
Yes.
like lack of meaning, like not sure the benefits of doing what currently doing, and just overall being confused about what lies ahead, but more so confused about what I want to lie ahead. And yet not being able to just commit to inaction either. So it's like this juggling of like, okay, I don't know what I want next. I also don't want to do nothing right now. And it's the juggling and then the wondering why not. And it's sort of that experience, that confusion, and the turmoil it can cause when you have to work extremely hard for something you don't know you even want, and you start to wonder your own motives. Like, when did I start wanting this? Like, why did I do this? And like, is it really me? What does that even mean? And when that line of questions start going, and it can spiral into a lot of turmoil. And that's not to say that your experience is entirely horrible. There's beauty in that experience, I would say. And I wanted to try to convey the beauty of that experience too.
Okay.
And I think I had that experience in my first year of engineering.
First year, yeah. For context, we are both engineering students, and the movie is, like, it wouldn't have been possible if we weren't.
Definitely not.
It's about that sort of experience.
Yeah, this movie would not at all exist if I didn't come to this university for this program. The whole cast, half the cast is people from my class. And another good chunk is people that I ended up living with. And then there's my high school friends are also in it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm most proud of from this movie.
Yeah.
Just the ability of being able to involve everyone I possibly could.
Yeah. You often talk about how that is, like, the best part of the movie for you, because that everyone that you are close with somehow has a part in the movie.
Yeah.
In making the movie. Do you want to say anything more about that?
I think it's just a no-brainer. I think it's such a no-brainer because there's so many of us, like, just in your friend groups, people who want a creative outlet. And if you're committing to trying to make something creative for yourself, it's just such a no-brainer that everyone else who also needs a creative outlet gets involved.
Yes. Okay.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, that 100% makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like I'm being pushed into it. Like, how can I not do it if I have a friend who's interested also in making movies and writing. I have a friend who's interested in acting and doing theater and also making movies. And I have a friend who loves making music. He's interested in making all types of music. And I have a friend who's very interested in doing hip-hop type of stuff. And it's just like, it's a no-brainer. And I have a friend who does production stuff.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, it's like, if you don't do it, like, I don't think it's really an option at that point. At that point, it's like you're interested in this. You have a story to tell. You have all these people around you. It's like, I didn't really need to be like, okay, I gotta do this. Like, for me, it was a no-brainer because what else is there to do?
I personally think it was very inspiring that you started this and, like, everyone else is just working together. I found it really, like, I find good because I as you said, I wanted a creative outlet in some sort. I do have my own other ones, but it's cool to collaborate on one thing together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So this is your first time directing.
Yes.
What were your expectations going into that role?
I think I started off with a more perfect image of it in my mind, where I would be like, I didn't consider all the things that go wrong in the process. Like in my head, it would have all gone right, and it was just the onus was on me to like just get the right performance and get the right shot.
Yes.
But the reality is, a lot of times I'm depending on you to get me the right shot. A lot of times I have to depend on Sid to get the right performance, because I can't be everywhere at once.
No.
And I like just the lack of control. Like I'm not a technician. I can't fix the camera if it breaks in the middle. Right? Like just that aspect, like, and I think that aspect is so important, because if you're given complete free roam, I think if I was given complete free roam, especially for my first one, there would be a lot of shots in there that wouldn't be there. Like a lot of stuff I think came out of those restrictions that maybe even gated a bit of character.
Yes.
You know, like it's far from perfect. Like the story is far from perfect, the dialogue is far from perfect, the editing is far from perfect, this camera work is far from perfect, even the acting is far from perfect. We all know it. When you watch it, you'll know it. But it has a character, and when I was editing, that's what I felt, that I could keep going and perfecting it and perfecting it and perfecting it. But it will lose its original like character. Like it's almost like a rough work. I want to share my rough work with you. Yeah. Okay. This is not my masterpiece. I hope not. Right? Yeah. And there's something, I think the most difficult thing is to be able to go, okay, you know what? I'm going to share my first draft. Like that's how I don't see movies as like masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece. I see it more like you just sort of get better and better at telling your story. And then your first one, you know, I read this book by Robert Rodriguez. Okay. And he was 23 years old when he broke into Hollywood. And literally all he did was, he always wanted to make movies. And he just bought a camera. This is back in the day when it wasn't so easy, right? Just get a little digital camera. You couldn't do that back then. And he went to Mexico, and they shot this movie called El Mariachi. Okay. And at first, no one would buy that movie. He just wanted to sell it to the Mexican market and make like maybe $10,000 off of it. But then Columbia got their eye on it. Okay. And Disney got their eye on it. And everybody got their eyes on it. Because it was a great movie. And he made it with limited like resources. He could only take like 3 shots per shot. Because of many reasons. Yeah. And like everyone asked him, how, like, your first movie, how did you do this? And he tells everyone, this is not my first movie. I've made like 12 movies before this that I never showed anyone. I've been making movies since I was a kid. Okay. And he says that everyone has about 12 bad movies in them, so the faster you get them out, the better. Okay. So, but this is your first movie ever, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Yes. So how do you feel about showing one of your first 12 bad movies? I would be a lot more nervous if the audience wasn't, like, most of the audience is people that love me and I love them. I'd be a lot more nervous if that wasn't the case, because the fact of the matter is I know those people are there for me, not for the movie. Okay. And I'm certain there are shots in there they will enjoy, whether or not they like the final product or not. And to me, it's like with my friends and my friends' friends, I'm comfortable enough to share my rough work.
Mm-hmm.
I consider it a rough work.
Okay.
And it's like showing someone your first draft.
Mm-hmm.
How comfortable you are with that depends. Like, I think it's all about expectation. I think we just go in there and just hope everyone has a good time, which I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've already had my day. That's what I think. I had my day when I finished writing it.
Mm-hmm.
I had my day when we were shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
I had my day when when I finished editing it.
Okay.
Now this is the audience's day. It's
Okay.
not my day.
Okay.
I don't have anything to be worried about. Either they're gonna enjoy or they're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's their problem.
So you have already screened this maybe to one or two groups before, like your family. I don't know.
I've screened it to my family.
Yeah.
I've shown it to you.
Yeah.
I've shown it to Sid.
Mm-hmm.
I've shown it to Hugh. I've shown it to Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, I see. So your family and the people who did work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess what is that experience like, showing it to your family, and how will that be different than showing it to your friends?
I showed it to 2-3 groups of different families
Yeah. Okay.
that I have, and each time it was a very vastly different experience.
Okay.
First time I showed it to my parents,
Mm-hmm.
I just sat down, and honestly it was my first time seeing the movie on a TV.
Mm-hmm.
I had only seen it like on my monitor or like
Mm.
on my laptop screen, and I just dissolved right into it. I forgot I was showing my parents.
Mm.
I was just watching it in awe, like this actually came out
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere.
And you weren't worried about what they were gonna
No,
think.
I completely forgot all that.
Mm.
And the second time I showed it to a more extended group of family,
Mm.
I was a bit more nervous. Well, I think I was less nervous going in. I was very nervous going in, showing it to my parents, because
Mm-hmm.
I was very scared what they would think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess it's just something about trying to get approval from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went and tried to show it to second group of family, I was a lot less nervous about showing it to them.
Mm-hmm.
But while watching it, I found myself observing people's faces to see what they were thinking rather than actually enjoying the movie myself. So I've had vastly different experiences, and I'm hoping that in this one I can go in and just enjoy the movie.
Just enjoy the movie.
Yeah, and not worry about what like this friend might think, or in this scene I know this friend's gonna be thinking this.
Mm.
Like I don't want to be doing that.
Mm.
And that's not a matter of whether you're showing family or friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's a matter of getting out of your mind, getting out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a matter of what vibe you go in with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you feeling anxious for today?
I'm not feeling anxious. No, I don't feel anxious.
You don't feel anxious? Do you feel excited?
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous about more about actually how all the setting up stuff
The
that's
event,
involved.
like the event itself.
Yeah, like the management of the event,
Yeah.
rather than the actual moment when we're sitting down watching the movie. I think that's the relief moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really the hold my breath moment.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I want to talk a bit more about the characters. So we have Siddharth Kumar and Hugh Dawson starring in this movie. I saw that you were working with them from the beginning with the character building process. I saw the character sheets and stuff. Can you tell me about how you guys built the characters? How was that process like?
That process was one of the most fun parts
Mm-hmm.
of the whole filmmaking process,
Mm-hmm.
discovering the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so important and it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
What I learned was that the character I wrote is not enough as it is.
Okay.
There needs to be another layer to that character.
Okay.
And that layer only the actor can give it.
Mm.
No matter how well I write the character, only the actor can give it life.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in terms of acting it out or perfecting what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but adding his own
Yeah.
perception of the character.
Yes.
Because he's not going to see it exactly how I see the character. but his vision might add a layer and it might become better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trust process.
Mm-hmm.
That's the process that I trust my actor enough that his vision for this actor is gonna bring this character one more notch up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did that. I think Sid did that. I think you did that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big process of trust for me because I couldn't always be there to direct the performances.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot about each scene before the scenes.
Yeah.
But actual day of the shoot,
mm-hmm.
because of limited time, limited people,
mm-hmm.
and limited resources, it was impossible to really take my time with directing the performance.
Okay, yes.
I had to trust that based on everything we've talked about, and based on little directions that I'm giving, that they will get the performance.
Yes.
And the character building process, that's what you asked me about. Basically, a lot of it was just me and Sid just talking it out.
Yeah.
Like just exploring, okay, so in this type of situation, what would this character think?
Mm-hmm.
So is this character nihilistic? Is this character this? And then just going deeper and deeper. And there would be lots of points where I'd be like, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think he's nihilistic? And then he would answer to me. And I feel like when you're creating something, as a director or as a writer or whatever, it still feels funny even calling myself that. I'm very hesitant of even saying that.
Yeah.
You know? But you need someone to throw stuff at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what you don't want. So it's like when you're editing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think editing is the place where it's the most important to have second, third opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically what happens is you might not know what you want, but you know what you don't want. So when someone suggests something like, hey, let's make the order from this shot first to this shot first.
Yeah.
Immediately your bells go off. You're like, no.
Yeah.
Because you may not know exactly what you want, but you know what is not happening. You know? And then it takes a lot of those to finally figure out what you do want.
Yes. So you knew Sid going into this pretty well.
Yes.
But
I was close with Sid going into this.
But I don't think you knew Hugh very well going into this.
I didn't know Hugh at all going into it.
So how is that kind of different between the two of them when you were, I guess, building the character? Because you knew how Sid would respond or how he would fit in with Jesse's character, but you didn't necessarily know that about Hugh.
Yeah.
Was there a difference?
I think Hugh was transitioned very nicely into becoming chill with us.
Okay.
I think Hugh and Sid had known each other from before, so that definitely helped because it's important for them to have a chemistry.
Yeah.
It definitely makes a difference though, being close with your actor.
Yeah.
Rather than someone you've just met. It definitely makes a difference. I don't know if it makes a difference in performance wise, but I think it makes a difference in just comfort, not comfort level. I think I was very comfortable with Hugh.
Yeah.
But I think the process where we're talking about characters, because we both know where we lie on the spectrum of thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? That makes it easier for me to try to explain in a way that Sid will understand, and it makes easier for Sid to try to explain to me in a way I would understand. Whereas with a new person, you sort of have to learn what kind of person they are before you can learn what kind of conversation would resonate with them. Because this conversation, I can't have this one with everyone.
No.
I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But I know it resonates with you, so I can have it.
Okay. So I think you were talking this earlier as well. When you wrote the script, you obviously have an image of these characters in your mind. Maybe some parts are from you specifically. Some part might be someone else. And seeing that come to life in an actor who has their own personality, and they add their own little performance to it. How does that feel? Was there anything that was surprising to you? Was there anything that you liked or didn't like about that?
I think what was surprising to me was that it's not necessarily how perfectly you create the image you originally had.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think that having a much clearer image is definitely something I want to do next time.
Yeah.
Like of exact images of what I want.
Yeah.
But I think getting that exact shot that you originally had planned
Mm.
isn't what necessarily leads to your vision.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing that leads to literally good stuff
Mm-hmm.
is how much fun we had
Mm-hmm.
when we were shooting it.
Mm.
And the shots that we had the most fun shooting tended to be more, odds were they were the best ones,
Yeah.
because we were all like excited to shoot that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are you shooting something that doesn't like excite you in the moment when you're shooting it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's immediately should be a red flag.
Mm.
Like there's some scenes in there where I was shooting because I had to shoot it,
Mm.
right? And there's many scenes in there that we were really enjoying ourselves shooting.
Yeah.
We were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And those scenes are the best scenes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the scenes where like it was like our first day
Mm-hmm.
shooting and things were going wrong and I was getting stressed and I was just thinking, damn, how am I gonna make this whole movie work
Mm.
if every day goes like this day?
Yeah.
And I was a little ticked off and I was just trying to like not have any conversations and just focus on like, okay guys, let's move on, I want the shot. Let's do it. This is how I want it. When I was doing that, when I was being an asshole basically, it didn't work for me.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it works for some people, but it didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like don't see the point even if it works
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah, I felt that in the beginning you were a bit more, not strict, strict is not the wrong word, but you were more concrete in your vision.
Yeah.
And I think it did open up, like everything just opened up a bit more when we all kind of just relaxed and just, let it happen.
Yeah.
And I think on the day we shot in Sid's room,
Yeah.
that was like a really fun day.
That was, yeah.
Even though the shots were, I think, harder, it was harder to get
It's
those
very-
shots
yeah.
than the first one when we were in the classroom.
And the performance was very like stressful.
The performance was, high intensity, stressful, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's also, I feel like that also contrasts with the last day, when we were shooting with extras.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how was that experience when you had to shoot with just a bunch of other people?
I think a lot of people there.
Mm-hmm.
I had to limit myself a little bit on like messing around, and because I had to realize it's gonna have a domino effect. Like if I start messing around too much on set, then everybody's gonna start messing around, and we're just simply not gonna get it at all.
Yes.
So I had to tone it down a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
But we're still making jokes. We're still having fun. Like behind the camera, you can see behind the scenes, everyone's laughing. And shooting with a lot of people, it makes the shot a little less personal for sure. Like, and just pure. I think the biggest thing with shooting with a lot of people is you have to depend on your cast and crew a lot more.
Okay.
You have to give it to them. It's their day. Like if you're shooting with a lot of people, I know that you will manage all these people. I know that my friends will come out and they will help make sure everything is orderly. And I have to trust that.
Yeah.
Or else I'll go insane if I'm trying to micromanage everyone. And I have to trust that when you're looking at the shot, you will see the page flips and you will tell everyone that, like,
oh yeah.
guys, this flip is weird, right? And you did that. You guys did that, and that's what you need in shooting with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think what was really important about that day was like the order, as you were talking about. We couldn't really have the freedom or the fun that we had just in an intimate setting with just a few people in the room.
Yeah.
It's like we have to like get this done. We don't want to waste people's time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Stuff like that is like a real big thought while shooting with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know you were telling me that you dislike the editing process the most out of the writing and the shooting.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, why is that?
I think I'm definitely not an editor.
Not an editor?
I I think I mostly dislike it because I don't think it's a process you should do alone, personally. You tunnel vision a lot. And it's also the most repetitive process.
Okay.
I have seen every single shot, and there's more than 500. I've seen every single one at least 10 times. So it's a stressful process. The audio syncing was tough. It was like repetitive as fuck.
Do it for every single scene.
Yeah, because we didn't clap in a lot of shots. And another huge problem was sometimes we'd have 2 videos but only 1 audio clip for 2 videos. So actually manually going through, like, and I want to use the second video. I have to listen to every audio clip fully, so that when it gets to the middle of the audio clip, I know, okay, the shot is starting now. So doing that was painful. But not just that, I think a much better result is if you have another editor and as a director you sit beside them when they're doing editing the whole time.
I was going to ask you about that because a lot of directors, like almost every single movie, is the editor is someone else.
Yes.
That's why do you find that important? Why do you find that important?
I think for the same reason.
It's tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision is a big one, but sometimes you need someone to tell you what you don't want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's really hard, like, coming up... Editing is trial and error. Okay. It's just a simple trial and error process. There's so many combinations that a movie can turn out.
Yeah.
If you consider, like, how many ways you can play shots, there's, like, more than 1 billion combinations, right? And it's trial and error, and editing alone can get lonely too. That too. Another reason is when you alone watch your movie over and over and over and over again, you lose its magic, and you don't get the same reaction someone would get when they first see the scene. So whenever in the editing process, there's always screenings.
You're always showing other people, like,
you're always showing what do you think of this. You're always showing the team. You're always even inviting people to see it and how they feel about it, right? You give them like a little survey, how they felt about this, that, and it's a trial and error process, the editing thing. And I think it's really important to have an editor, personally. That is something I would, if I do this again, when I do it again, that's something I will try, but it's also a heavily trust-based thing. Because you're really giving everything you have to this person, and you're depending on them to understand your vision, and use their skill set to convey your vision.
Yeah, to make your vision come true.
But I think requires if you are the type of person who's a control freak, I think that's disastrous in this process. In the filmmaking, in the whole filmmaking process.
Okay.
And I think there are a lot of great directors who are control freaks, and like hats off to them, but that shit's stressful.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to be that. And you want to make it fun for people to work with you at the end of the day, right? Or else it's not, you're making a movie at the end of the day, right? I'm not like trying to like prevent a disease right now, right? That maybe requires more strictness, seriousness, and control freakiness, but this is a movie, right? Like, if you're making it stressful for everyone involved, including yourself, what are you doing? Why are you making it?
So you obviously don't enjoy the Kubrick-like direction, like
I love his movies.
You love his movies.
I mean, something amazing came out of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But like, hats off to him and everyone who got stressed out by him. But for me, it wouldn't be worth it if I came out with a masterpiece like that by stressing everyone around me out.
So who are some of your, I guess, inspirations film-wise? Maybe directors or just movies itself that maybe influenced this movie?
I wouldn't say, I'm not sure if it directly influenced this movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I can name my favorite
Mm-hmm.
directors. They're definitely Quentin Tarantino
Mm-hmm.
and Martin Scorsese.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely my favorite directors.
Were you maybe like watching some of these films while in the process, like writing or shooting or editing, and did that
I thought about
maybe
doing
affect it?
that,
You thought about
but
it?
no, I didn't do it.
You don't want to contaminate it.
I'm not sure. Like, I wouldn't. I don't think I was worried about that.
Okay.
But I think I just didn't feel like watching a movie
Okay.
in the middle of like editing or
Okay.
writing. Like, I was overtaken with the task at hand rather than like,
Okay.
especially with the editing, because I
Mhm.
wanted to finish it
Mm.
by the end of the year.
Hmm.
So I also didn't want to lose my flow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to get started on a flow and then like go watch a movie
And be like, oh,
and then
that's
now I'm in
good.
like a different flow, right?
Yeah.
Then so it takes a while to get into your stuff,
Uh-huh.
right? To actually like be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I see it. To get into that, it takes a while,
Okay.
and once you're in that, you don't want to lose it. You want to make use of it as much as you can, right?
Okay. Do you feel you have a certain like, you've found a certain editing style for yourself?
Definitely not.
No.
No, I don't think I found a directing, editing, or writing style for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that would take a lot longer
More
for me
time
to
to figure out.
explore. Yeah.
Okay.
Like for me, this is just like I've just put out an experimentation,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Like I've just for the first time like learned, and I've learned along the way, right?
Mhm.
Like you can't have a guitar playing style when you're just learning how to play guitar,
No.
right? Once you are an actual guitar player,
Yeah.
now you have a style,
Yes.
right? But I don't consider myself that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a student of film right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, if you were to do it again, would you change? Would you try something new? Let's say for next time.
I definitely would.
What does that mean to you? Trying something new, maybe script wise or shooting wise. How would it be different?
I think it would be less about trying something new, but more about fixing the things that were glaring, that were glaring issues with this one for
Okay.
me. Like I can't describe to you how much I've learned during the writing process,
Uh huh.
the shooting process, and the editing process.
Yes.
Like the amount of like knowledge I've gained through
Mhm.
mistakes that I made.
Mm-hmm.
That it almost feels like a waste to me to not. What I'm saying is, if I just fix all those things
Yeah.
that I know concretely now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If I just start over
Yeah.
and I just fixed all those things,
Mm-hmm.
right? It would be 10 times better,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
And it almost feels like a waste to not do that.
To not fix them.
To not do that in the next one.
Now that you've seen them, you know what.
Yeah, like one way of going about this is fix it in this one. Do whatever you can to fix it in this one. But then you just keep extending this process of
Uh-huh.
not moving on from this.
Yes.
It's kind of like letting your kid go off to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to just like put it to bed
Mm-hmm.
and do it in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this one need to be perfect?
Okay.
And the next one doesn't even need to be perfect. But it can involve all the wisdom from this one.
Yes. And then you'll have mistakes there, and you'll figure out for the next one.
Yeah,
What to do there.
exactly.
Do you want to speak about what you feel is a glaring issue?
Yeah, there's a lot of glaring issues. Not being prepared for certain shots.
Okay.
For example, I think I'm now of the belief that every shot should be storyboarded. Or
You
if
see
not-
storyboards now.
If not storyboarded, I should at least have seen the shot in my head before
Yes.
we take it.
Okay.
It shouldn't be like there's scenes in there where it's like we're gonna go in this room, and we'll figure out what we need,
Mm.
and that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of good shots that came out of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I will have much more planning, and
Okay.
basically, I think it was valuable editing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want for my first movie to have another editor because
Yes.
then I don't learn all the things I learned while editing.
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing I learned while editing was that plan.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have watched the whole movie in your head
Mm-hmm.
before it gets to the editing table and before you shoot it.
Okay.
You have to have.
You don't want to improvise on the editing.
No. You have to improvise too.
And the rest too.
But basically, what I'm saying is, you should never be in a spot where you don't know what to shoot next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that don't be willing to drop your plans and do what feels right at the
Mhm.
moment. Have plans, but be willing to drop them.
Yes.
Don't not have a plan
Mm-hmm.
and just improvise.
Yeah. Because we had the script. We had words on what would happen. But that doesn't necessarily translate to a frame
Yes.
or to a composition
So there
or to cuts.
were shots that had definite shot lists
Yes.
and like an exact image in my mind that this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like the beginning sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That is completely planned out. Like
Yeah.
the first 3 shots.
Okay, yeah.
They're completely planned out.
Mm-hmm.
There was no question of how we're gonna shoot that
Mm-hmm.
when we get there. There was some improvisation in those, but it's a different kind of improvisation. It's like the kind of improvisation that builds on the plan
Yeah.
rather than just being clueless.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened a lot in the classroom scenes.
The classroom thing is
Completely unplanned.
yeah.
There's no planning for the classroom scenes.
Yeah.
There wasn't an idea of what the framing would even be.
Mm-hmm.
The way we approached that day was, let's shoot as many different angles and as many different types of shots we can take, and then hopefully there will be something in there we can use. And that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You should not do that, because if you don't have something worth showing,
Mm-hmm.
why are you showing it?
Mm-hmm. I think Sabrina insulated us a lot
Yes.
from all those production and shooting like obstacles,
Yeah.
and I think like can you talk a bit about her and like
This would be impossible without Sabrina.
right?
Yeah. Sabrina's been pushing me to do something like this for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I think ever since I first mentioned to her that I would like to someday,
Mm-hmm.
she has always been like, "Oh, we gotta do that someday.
Mm-hmm.
We have to." And in this project would be like me, Sid, you, Hugh running around like doing stupid shit if it
Headless
wasn't
chickens.
for Sabrina.
Yeah.
Because she brought like a framework
Mm-hmm.
to the whole project. Like
Mm-hmm.
she gave me my boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
She made it practical and realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because without those things, it's just ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Until you involve someone like Sabrina in a project,
Mm-hmm.
it's just ideas.
Okay.
There's zero execution to it.
Yes.
She brought the inspiration for me to actually execute it.
Yeah.
To actually, not just the inspiration, but the whole planning framework,
Yeah.
all the documents she made, all the lists, all the cast lists, the clothing people are going to wear, consistency,
Yeah.
all this stuff that like you don't think about,
You would
especially
never
when
know.
you're new.
Yeah. You would never know.
I would just never know. I would just be doing it like I'd just take a piece of paper and I'd be like just jotting down shit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd just be like showing people, okay, like this,
Yeah.
and that's stupid, and
Yeah.
it would fall apart like that.
She brings all the industry knowledge that is built upon like all these like decades of film that
Yeah.
we just would literally not know.
Yeah, and her
I
patience,
would.
her patience is incredible.
Mm.
Like, she'll do whatever needs to be done,
Mm.
and she doesn't complain,
Mm.
and she's just fucking patient.
I think she was the glue.
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
It's all good. Damn, I didn't even see you drink your water. You already drank like half of it.
Yeah, I drink a lot of water, bro. So I think maybe we talked a bit about this, but now that you've seen the final project or product, how does it, I guess, compare to the original vision?
It definitely has the theme I was trying to depict.
Yeah.
I don't have any doubts about that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the exact image, mostly because of practicality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, the exam scene. I
Mm.
would have liked it in PAC.
Oh yeah.
Like, PAC is like a big gym
Yeah.
where, like, thousands of people write an exam at once.
Yeah.
I can't do that,
No.
right? But that was my original image for that.
Mm.
And that environment is very nauseating.
Yes.
So what we had to do is we had to use what we had, the space we had and the people we had,
Mm-hmm.
to try to replicate that nauseousness.
Yes.
And we did some like fuckery to try to get that to work.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's fine.
That.
It adds a different kind of emotion to that scene,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But as long as it's a good emotion, why does it matter if it's the same one that I originally wanted or not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can change.
That was like part of how the constraints sort of inform the movie.
Yeah.
That's one of those
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of times like that with constraints.
So yeah, do you have anything else you want to talk about specifically?
No, I think you got a cool hoodie.
Yeah, it's not a hoodie, but yeah, it's a sweater.
Is that like You've Got a Friend? Is that Toy Story?
Yeah, it isn't. This song is in Toy Story. You've got a friend.
That's sick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wear this to the thing though.
Yeah. What did you think like about the whole process?
What did I think? I
Yeah.
fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It is like my highlight of 2019.
Yeah.
It's
Mine
2019,
too.
right? Just, I'm into movies too. You have to be if you like, want to do this. I guess I'm into movies too, but like, I've never felt like, I guess the urge or like maybe the inspiration to like make a movie. I guess I'm into like making other stuff. So, but seeing it firsthand, getting the opportunity, like you asking me to like work on it with you and stuff,
Yeah.
that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like so
I'm
thankful.
glad.
I'm so thankful, to you and to everybody that
Yeah. No,
I could work on it.
I'm very thankful too. Like, I don't know what kind of deeds I had to do to get this type of shit in my life.
In your last life.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what. I don't know what I did. Like, what kind of like. But just having, like, come on. I know for a fact, right? Most people that came out and helped out, they did it for us,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't care about
The movie.
making movies
Yeah.
or making this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know what this movie is yet.
No.
They haven't seen it.
No.
And to them, it doesn't matter. To them, they came out to support us in
Yeah.
what we wanted. And that's amazing.
Yeah, that is true.
So for me specifically, I would say 99.9% of friends I have,
Yeah.
total friends I
Yeah.
have, were there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're involved in it somehow.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. There might be one or two people missing,
Yeah.
but I got overall everyone that I knew from here and from back in my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and I got everyone to somehow come and do it. And they happily, gladly did.
Yeah.
And they are all coming now. Most people are coming to see it.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing.
Yeah. That is sick.
I don't know, like, I would not have imagined this like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like, being in this spot
Yeah.
would be like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in it. And like, that's what I was saying to Sid. Like, we went to, for one of the shots, we were at a beautiful location. I wish you could be there. You would have loved it. But it was probably one of the toughest shots because I had to go underwater to take it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cold. The
Mhm.
water was really cold. And staying down there for long periods of times it gets cold.
Yeah.
But we were in this beautiful location, and it was like a vacation for 2 days. It took us like a couple hours to shoot that shot.
Mm.
The rest of the time we were like vacationing, we were like swimming, we were like having fun. There were horses there, we were like playing with chickens.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. It was a very cozy cottage type place, and as Sid was saying to me that like, can you imagine like just doing this like for like your whole life, like just being in like these beautiful locations with wonderful people,
Mm-hmm.
just like shooting stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, we're doing it right now. And it's just such a mind blowing thing. It's like, we're doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like we did it.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it. We are in the beautiful location with beautiful people shooting beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
and it's like the product doesn't actually take anything from that. Like, it doesn't have to be a Kubrick masterpiece for that element to be just as ripe.
Exactly. I value this experience regardless of like how good or bad the movie is. I just value the experience.
Yeah.
Which I think is what you're getting at as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely the thing I'm most proud of is how much fun we had, and how much fun everyone that I could bring into it had. I'm not gonna name which one, but I've been an extra in another person's short film.
Oh yeah.
And god damn, we had so much fun in ours.
Oh.
Like.
Oh, I thought you wait.
Like that shit was
comparing to
fucking cold as fuck.
Oh, I see.
I think there's a few people who will know which one I'm talking about, so I gotta tread carefully. But
weather-wise, it was cold, or like just the environment. The
no,
vibe?
it was just like boring, and like it was just so like there was just no. And you know what? The short story might be great. You know, short film. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen
it might come out amazing, but like I didn't feel like I enjoyed it because I felt everyone was so keen on just doing their job. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit unfair. There were definitely people there that were very fun, and that made the experience fun. But overall, I think the excitement and fun we had, you don't get that in all sets.
No.
You just don't.
Is that so? For your, let's say you're making a next film, would you also want to have all your friends there again? Would you also involve everyone again?
If it fit.
If it fit.
If I could fit it.
This, I guess the idea, like this movie itself, it lends itself to getting everyone you know in it. Because a lot of us are in a sort of a similar situation as Jesse is in the movie. So I guess it fits in this sense.
I think the biggest plus of getting someone who you know, even if they're not the most talented person for this particular thing, the most useful thing about that is communication. Oftentimes you don't even need to communicate. Yeah. You just sort of like have that.
The feel. Yeah,
the feeling of like, okay, like you sort of have that going into it. You have the closeness to just navigate through without, especially when you're discussing like character stuff and ideas about characters. Oftentimes, if it's a friend, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Right? Like even if they don't agree with it, they know exactly what I'm trying to say. Right? And that's a much more difficult thing to get with someone you don't know. Right? Because they don't know where I'm coming from. Yes. You know, you don't know some things I say. Sometimes I say some things where a stranger might think I'm crazy. Yeah. Right. And sometimes I say things some people might think like, oh, I have weird views or whatever, or I'm a weirdo or whatever, right? But like, the trust is basically what the best part about shooting with people you know is. Yeah, you've spoken a lot about the trust today. Yeah. Yeah, that seems important. Yeah. Do you have any news or ideas for upcoming projects we should know about? That you want to tell us about? Yeah, I'll say it. I am writing another script right now. But I don't know if it'll ever be a thing. Okay. And I want to give myself the space, and I'd like to think that I'm writing it not just because I want to write another script. And that's why when I don't feel like writing, I don't write. But I just have this. This weird thing started happening to me after we made this movie. What's that? I had images started coming up in my head of what. It's almost like, have you seen Arrival? Yeah. You know how the main girl in Arrival starts having like images pop up into her head? Yes. Like it feels like that. Okay. It feels like I can see glimpses of a character. Or like glimpses of like a story. Okay. Yeah. And the strategy I've been trying to use is I don't rush to my table to write it down as soon as I see it. You like let it marinate and play around in your brain a bit. Yeah, I just let it do whatever it wants to do. Yeah. and then when I feel like writing something,
Yeah.
I'll if it comes to me, then it's good.
Mm-hmm.
If I forget it, then it's probably not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because the ones that really affect me, I won't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have like a couple of like characters in my head right now and their story arcs that I can't forget
Mm-hmm.
because like I've been having the images for them.
Okay.
I don't know, it might just be a crazy thing.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
I sort of get a similar thing. Maybe not with characters, but it's like
Yeah.
I get like an idea one day, like, oh, this would be cool, and then the next day, something builds on that. But I don't have enough to like. I don't have the urge or the inspiration to just like write it out. If I sat down right now, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once it just grows,
It keeps building and building.
it keeps building, and once
Yeah.
it grows, then like you put the pen on the paper,
Yes.
and it's done.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I find that it's like the character telling you the story rather
Okay.
than you coming up with it.
Yes.
It's like you let it tell you what to put.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, especially when you're writing, I love the writing process.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's incredible. I
Okay.
think it's like the most spiritual experience of filmmaking
Okay.
is the writing process.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's where you are the most like controlless. I
Like
would say.
free.
Like it's not you telling the story.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
you have to let the story unfold. I never wanna, and actually these are kind of like techniques I've kind of borrowed from like Tarantino.
Yes.
Like he speaks about this style
Yes.
of writing where you let your characters tell you
Mm-hmm.
like what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Like you discover with your characters what happens
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Rather than have like this like linear, like you already know how you want to end this movie. Like that's more of like an overarching idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to make a movie where somebody, I don't know, decides to go live in a forest,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the movie you want them to discover that it was a bad idea,
Yeah.
and like they go back and live a life in city.
Mm-hmm.
That's an overarching like
Narrative.
story. Now you're constrained.
Yes.
Now you sit down to write it, and every single thing that's gonna come out of your pen is gonna be between A and B,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I want A, and then I want to see where it goes.
Yes. Okay. So you work on fleshing out A to the best you can do,
Yeah.
and then see where it takes you.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I want to make each page as good as I can possibly write it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think writing is a completely faith-based process.
Okay.
Completely. You have to have the faith that when you sit down to write, you'll
Mhm.
have something good to say.
Okay.
And if you don't have that faith, that's a hindrance in the writing process.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying that you feel writing is the least controlled one.
Yeah, writing is when you can go crazy.
Is when you go crazy. So let's say when you're writing a script, you were telling me earlier that you don't want to think of it like that you're gonna make a movie out of it, but when you're writing it, would you think like, oh man, I there's no way I would be able to film this. Like I don't want to write this one down. Like there's no way I would be able to film like
Yeah,
You know.
I know what you're talking about.
a shootout or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have those thoughts?
Yes, those thoughts are the biggest obstacles.
The biggest obstacle.
The practicality of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the second biggest obstacle is what people will think about it when they see it.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are by far the biggest reasons why I would choose to stray away from. I think those are the biggest things that keep me from going art full time. Like try to pursue art.
Full time is that those two
Yes.
obstacles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I want to be able to wake up and not make art if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to be my bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that's my bread, then I have to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get better at it from that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I don't want to take the joy out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think although I may get better, I will take joy out of it.
Okay.
And sorry, what was your question?
I was asking about the practicality of
Yes.
the script.
So I think what you have to do is you just have to write the first draft. You should try to write it without removing that stuff as much as possible.
Oh,
So
that's
like if you have a scene where there's like a like a truck in the scene and you have soldiers sitting in the back of a truck,
Yeah.
we can't do that.
Yeah, it's like
We
impossible.
don't have the money for that, right? I have a scene like that,
Okay.
and I want it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna write it,
Yeah.
and then because I have to write the writing for the writing.
Mm-hmm.
The script is not just a blueprint for the film.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I was asking.
The,
Is that
the
how you-
script is its own art form.
One thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then later, the movie is an adaptation of the script,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to keep it pure. Maybe your second draft can be the blueprint for the film.
Okay.
Maybe that scene gets replaced with a bunch of idiots sitting in the back of a van. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's what you have, that's what you make.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the writing itself has to be reward enough
Mm-hmm.
for you to not like break down over the fact that you can't do it.
Yes.
Like, so if the movie is the only reward for you, that like you're writing a script so you can make a movie,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I would lose my mind like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That wouldn't be fun for me.
Okay. I see that. Do you have anything else to say?
Well, that's it. I just want to thank Sunit for doing this. I don't know who's gonna actually ever see this. Maybe, maybe not. But this was fun.
Yeah.
What did you think? It was fun, right?
I really enjoyed it because like this is something that I want to do. I feel like I wasn't the best interviewer though. Like I don't know.
No, you were great, bro. What I learned through this process is that how little we actually listen to our friends. But like in an interview type of setting, you're forced to listen to me.
You have
And
to.
I'm forced to listen to you. And I'm more attentive than I normally am when I'm just talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like I'm not like, you know what I mean, right?
Yes, because we're here for the talk.
We're here to listen to each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
and people are listening to us
Yes.
theoretically.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure someone will see it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I guess just a bit of my process. I think that I don't know how I feel about writing down the questions, because as you said earlier, like I wanted to go like off what you were saying,
Yeah.
but I still felt psychologically like I was on rails a bit. So then at one point you talked about something at the very beginning. You talked about editing, and I'm like, fuck, we're not there yet. and then I'm okay. Well, let's talk about editing for a bit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to be able to switch up the order, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, this is so much probably easier than for you because I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit here and answer your questions.
Yeah, and it felt jarring at times because we're talking about editing, and then now I have to go back and talk about the script. So I'm like, I don't know exactly how to like maneuver
I
correctly.
get that. Yeah,
But-
I go off in tangents a lot too.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's more content.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love this.
it was fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah, no. Thanks, bro. Thanks for doing it.